Drama's so good. Drama's good. All right. Hey, y'all at the Magical Solution. We are about to go live here at the Angel Aura Spiritual Boutique Shop here in Pawling, New York, 12 West Main Street. We do in-person and live stream roundtable Q&As. It's really exciting. Tonight we have Joe LaCastro, and we have, of course, our beautiful shop owner, Diana, and we are about to party tonight. So let's get this going. Let's get this going. I'm gonna let you guys in on the back scenes. Just click over there, behind the scenes. They're figuring it out right now. They're just doing that. We are. It's ready. You are live. Hi. Oh, thank you.
Welcome to the Angel Aura Show. I'm Diane, your host, and my co-host with me this evening are our lovely Miss Leilani.
Hey guys.
And Joe LaCastro.
How's it going? What's up?
Hey, so welcome. I'm so excited. So tonight we are also John de Blasi is on hold. He's going to be joining us in also, so I'm going to click him in.
Hey John, what up, bro?
So do we click him to join in? Is that what we do?
Oh wait. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
Sure, we can do that. We can do that.
Stream.
Hey, Mary, John, what the heck do you got on your head, child? What is that? Oh my God! Y'all should see this. He look crazy.
Hey, welcome. I'm gonna bring you over a little closer to me, Joe. So, yeah, let's bring the chair over.
We're gonna have to get him.
I told you he cut you off.
Yay! Can we move him around on the screen?
No.
Okay.
Oh, it's a spectrum.
Well, welcome, John. So glad that you're here with us.
Thank you.
There we go.
Try that.
Yeah, there he is.
All right.
So John is doing a workshop this coming Friday at 7:00. The Kachina beings and multidimensional experiences. I'm super excited about this. I did a little reading on it, but John's gonna tell us all about it. You want to talk?
Okay. Do you have any specific questions for me, or?
No, tell us about your workshop, John.
Well, tell us Tell us what a Kachina being is.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, there's all kinds of spirit guides. Each kind of spirit guide kind of like associated with tribes of the American Southwest, like the Hopi and the Zuni. So they're often considered to be like beings that exist in between dimensions. So there's a lot of mystery to them, but a lot of times they have certain like aspects to them that are like power animals, or to do with like the elements, or thunder beings or lightning and things like that. And the Zuni, but especially the Hopi, they actually created these dolls in simple form first to begin to introduce to their children the Kachina spirits. This has been done over many, many generations. And then as the child got older, they would receive bigger and more advanced Kachina dolls, more elaborate, more probably powerful in energy.
So the dolls are a spirit energy.
Well, they call them Kachina dolls. That's how they taught it. But the workshop is more about Kachina beings.
Okay.
But if you have some people or shops actually sell the dolls, you can
Yeah, I did look some of them up, and they're really nice looking. I'd like to get some for the shop here. Definitely, they're super cool.
Cool, yeah. Some of them are dancing or poses.
The dolls dance?
There's one Kachina that's called the dancer, but there's an aspect of
their spirit.
And just ceremonies. Dress up in costume here, and they would actually bring in the Kachina to dance.
That's cool, right?
That's cool.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like they call them Eglin drumming, Eglin spirit, and they do a drumming for spirit, and they have everyone's spirit guides will like represent it or something, and they come down dancing.
Yeah, that sounds. I think there's probably different names for this throughout different traditions. So that's also.
I love it.
That's awesome. What else we got?
So what else will we be learning in your workshop? Or something else that we'll be doing?
Well, we're gonna, focus on the empowerment issues more. We'll even go into like a little bit of creation of the whole piece. And, on healing and world peace too.
Yes, that's going to be fun.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds cool.
Especially with
In November, I thought that was now.
I thought that was all of 2020, to be honest with you.
it's wrapping up to the beginning of November big time.
Exactly. Well, I want you to stay through the whole show with us. Would you stay with us for most of the show?
Sure, yeah.
Cool. That's cool. So I just wanted to let everyone know, your workshop is Friday at 7 p.m. It's the Kachina Beings and Multidimensional Experiences. If you haven't taken a workshop with John, you are definitely missing out. Show up and enjoy this one. It's only $40, and it runs about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on the group and how much John feels the group is needing. And I know that a lot of your workshop is based upon what you're feeling for the group.
Yeah, I try to tune in and scan throughout the workshop. Sometimes there's interactive the energy.
It's cool. And John comes with most of his amazing crystals. I'm sure not all of them, but a lot of his crystals are just so energetic and intense, and it's wonderful. I love all your things.
Thank you. Oh, and then I'm going to be doing crystal skull readings on Halloween.
That's right. That's right. John is on Halloween. We're doing the $35 readings for the day, and then our party starts at 6:30. But John is going to be doing his crystal skull, and Leilani
I'll be
is
doing the
doing
bone readings.
bone readings. And Joe, are you coming in for readings?
I don't know yet.
Well, you will be surprised. So that's going to be super fun. But Joe and Leilani are also doing workshops this month. And Leilani, you want to tell us a little bit about your workshop coming up this Saturday, by the way?
Yes. So I'll be doing a workshop on how to connect to your spirit guides. So it's a bi-weekly workshop, and the group comes in. I give homework assignments. It's kind of like a college course. We do a lot of learning, a lot of practicum, and they get sent home with some assignments. They have to do those. We come back, we talk about their experiences, and then we kind of move on from there. So it's a constant just build up on what we keep learning. And this week in particular, we're going to be talking about divination and how to use divination in our connection with spirit guides. So it's going to be a great class.
It is a great class, and you're already getting a bunch of group that the group is expanding. So
yeah,
you've got quite a few people coming in, even someone with their little doggy too.
Oh yeah,
That's cute. That's cute. And Joe is also doing a workshop on the 30th.
Yeah, so on the 30th, I'm going to be teaching, it all starts with you, how to manifest properly, why things don't get manifested at all, things that you might have done in your life that you've already manifested, and put into context why that really happens and how to do it again. A lot of fun stuff. I always like to have fun and laugh and teach in a unique way. I was that kid in school that was like, Sally has 3 candies, John has 2 pennies. What happened to Zach? I'm like, I don't know what happened to Zach. So
more importantly, what happened to the candy?
So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what happened to Zach in this class too. But we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna teach you how to manifest all those things you want. Why big manifestations take time, and how to bring it in still.
Sweet,
so
awesome.
That's awesome. Gonna be a cool workshop. Oh wow! So we were talking about topics earlier, and one of the topics that Leilani brought up to me was about one of your people had asked about readings and how do you know if you're getting a real reading or
Yeah, they had an experience where they paid this reader to they went to go see a reader. They paid money, and this reader came and brought out her book to read from. And they were very disappointed. They wanted their money back. They were just like, this is not a real reading. You read from the book. And the person was like, no, I'm not giving you your money back. I gave you a real reading. And it was like this whole thing. And it became like a big debate in the community. And so people wanted to know, like, are you a real reader if you still look from your book? Is it considered a real reading? Should people charge for money if they're still looking it up in the book? And I wanted to kind of pose that to you guys. Like, how do you feel about going to a reading and them still kind of using their book?
This is a topic that kind of bounced around today in my life a couple of different ways.
So it's divine time.
Through people in different scenarios, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Number one, I think if they're looking at a book, like you just, I don't even know if somebody, if I'm paying for a
You got to
reading,
see his
they're
face
like,
on this one.
let me just check my book real quick about this card. But here's my question. All right, the first thing that I would go is maybe they just aren't trusting themselves fully and they want to touch on something. But were they going in the book for the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Oh no. How much did they think that meant?
I don't recall.
Too much.
Too much, exactly.
We all start somewhere, but if you're going to start at all, you have to let go of the book and trust your intuition at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You have to give yourself time to learn the book if you want to, but also you have to learn your intuition. And when you're starting to charge people, that should be around the time where you're confident in what you're working with.
Exactly.
And so I have nothing against asking for your money back or just letting it go and never going back again. But yeah,
yeah. Marion says a book is not bringing in spirits, but not necessarily do all readers bring in spirits. So there are people that read with knowing the tarot. So if they have a tarot deck, they know about each card. They've studied each card. They've connected to each card, and so that's a real tarot reader. They're reading from the tarot deck.
Mm-hmm.
But bringing in spirits or connecting to spirit is a medium. So that's different.
Right.
So you can have a psychic and you can have a medium and you can have psychic medium. So in a reading, we're connecting to two different things. When you're a psychic medium, psychically, we're connecting to your energy and we're giving you a reading from your energy. But as a medium, we're connecting to spirit, to our guides who are giving us messages.
And if you're too distracted with a book, it's really difficult to do that.
Exactly. The book should not even be involved in there. You haven't studied long enough to read the book.
And another thing too, I think it's really important, like a good point that Joe brought up, like everyone starts somewhere, right? And that's so important. We never want to like dog anyone who's learning this, right? But start with your friends, start with your family, start with, you know what I mean? Like start small. Like it's okay to crawl before you run. Don't think that you have to just hit that marathon right away or like that you're in any kind of rush to do something, because at the end of the day, divine timing is what it is. Like you will get yours when it's time to get yours. You know, so take your time and really hone your craft and really do what you do to the best of your ability. And especially if you're going to charge money for it, y'all. That's your reputation. Yeah. That's your reputation. And honestly, I think probably the most important thing, the most important piece of advice I could give about this is a lot of times when people come to you for a reading, you're usually a last resort. They've gone to the police. They've gone to the justice system. They've spoken to therapists. They've done everything. And a lot of times people are coming to you because it's like, my hands are up. I don't know where else to go. Can you give me some kind of insight? And you can really F somebody's shit up if you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
So it's like super important for you to like kind of know your place, be able to refer people out if something is way out of your league, and just don't go there. Because the last thing you want is someone's life being all messed up on your hands, your thoughts.
Was the message, you know, if the message at all was like on point with anything?
I don't recall. Like none of the details weren't given to me. The question was just, I just got this reading, girl, and they used their book. Like, what the F? Like, can you tell me about it? And I was like, oh, let's talk about it. So they really didn't get into too much detail.
Well, I think you can read for yourself if you have a deck of cards and you don't know what the meanings are, and you can look it up and yes, you can get a reading from meditating on your deck and putting down some cards and then looking in the book to find the meaning to the card. and you can receive a reading like that for yourself, but someone shouldn't be charging you for that.
Right.
So it's
the same thing with services. Like if you're someone who just read Judica Isles' Encyclopedia of 5,000 Spells, and now all of a sudden you're making oils and this and that and selling it on your Etsy shop, that's a problem. That's a problem. You know, again, because you could mess with someone. Like people are coming to you for these services of a spiritual nature, and messing with people's spirit can be a problem. Or if you're not a trained herbalist and you're mixing shit up that you don't know anything about, you could poison someone. Like that shit is for real. So I think it's important that, you know, just take the proper steps is really all we're asking.
right. And if you're going to someone for a reading or for oils or for tinctures or whatever it might be, do your homework about that person. Find out.
Some people have allergies. Some people's spirit doesn't mix right with certain things.
Right,
like,
but if I was going to someone that I wanted to buy some herbs from, you know, and I wanted an herbalist, I would definitely want to say, I want some reference, or, you know, everything's on Google now. You can Google everybody.
I was just talking to someone on the way here, and they had a question earlier, and I didn't understand until I talked to them. And there was, I don't know what realm or if she really was, but she was in the realm of the Santeria as well as me, but I don't know how true it was. And she told him that when he was a kid that they had closed him off spiritually and that he needed to spend $500 with her to do this ceremony.
Child.
And I was like, so not egotistically, but now I'm thinking, okay, Santero Joe, 12 years, what have I learned so far?
Right.
And the things that she was telling him had nothing, didn't even add up spiritually even if it was closed.
Right.
It didn't add up to open it up. Right. And so they were saying, we're going to do this and do this. And I'm going, no, you would have to do this. And this is the reason why. Yeah. And they weren't, it just didn't mix up. And when I heard $500, it was like right there too.
Yo, that happens so much in our community. Listen, in the spiritual community, y'all need to understand, if the diviner gives you the problem and then wants to give you the solution to the problem, you might want to just kind of like double check, just be sure. You know what I mean? That's not always the case, but like ask questions, because there's no, what's the right word? There's no checks and balances in our field. Mm-hmm. So no one is being held accountable. And so it's really, really easy to take advantage. It's really easy to be a charlatan. A lot of smoke and mirrors, and people's lives get messed up this way. Same, you know, in our traditions, even making a spiritual bath needs to be divined on, because each person is different, and their spirits can be chased away by certain herbs, and their allergies and their et cetera, all has to be taken into account, even when preparing something so simple as a cleansing bath. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So this is why it's important to know thyself, to know your shit, so that you when you see these red flags, they're really obvious to you, and you can be like, this ain't right. You know?
See, this really triggered me, and I was this actually today in general. There was a couple different things why it was a similar realm, and the lady had told him that he needed to wear white to then wear the white clothes to the ceremony if that does take place. Number one, if there's what they call a rompimiento, you don't wear the white going in. You're wearing regular clothes to go out with the white.
Right.
Second thing is that if there was someone that was closed or they're going through, that would be an herbal. There would be herbs involved for the reason of the essence of the energy. But she's given all these things like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and I'm like, that just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Well, why are you closed? I'm like, your energy's not closed off. Don't people buy into that? When there's a narcissistic, confident person, they're like, yeah, no, you need to do this, and they fall for it. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, they'll pay anything to get their lover back, and they'll pay anything to get their stuff back that really they never lost.
Right. Or they might just be having a little bit of bad luck for like a week. Mm-hmm. And that's a perfect opportunity for someone to come in and say, all your life is all types of fucked up, let's fix it, you know?
I got $1,000 right here. I wouldn't even do it for that, because I don't want to lose my gift.
Right.
And that's it. And then they never receive anything back on that. And, you have any comments on that, John?
I was just going to ask John.
Yeah, come on, John.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of good points with that. Oh, this is one I've heard about a lot. Let me think about how to reveal this. Okay. Oh, when somebody goes to like a reader and the reader tries to convince them that they have a family curse.
Oh,
They
don't
need
get me
to pay
started.
hundreds or even thousands of dollars to remove the curse.
Oh, John, don't even get me started, baby.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
You know what I mean? You know, I do a lot of energy work, things like that. If somebody gets a reading from me, I just help them. It's not about the money or, you know, paying like mortgage or
Can we comment on that?
Be as honest as you will be.
Yeah. John, let me tell you something. Listen. Do you know how freaking hard it is to put a curse on someone? Like, it is so hard to put a curse on someone. The amount of energy, the amount of herbs, the amount of the spirits that you have to use. Then to say a generational curse, something that will last all the way down the line. Listen, that shit is no joke. And I'm sorry, but I have yet to meet people who have that kind of juice. I've yet to meet them. And when it comes to spell work specifically, spell work needs to be worked on constantly. It's not a one and done situation. You don't just light a candle, make a prayer real quick, walk away, and boom, everything happens. It's something that you're working. You're working and you're working and you're working until what it is that you need to manifest. Mm-hmm. So for something to be a generational curse means something has to be tied to it to work it throughout all the generations. That takes a lot of mojo, my man. So like, in order for someone to say you have a generational curse, like that should be a red flag right off the bat. You know what I mean? And you got to ask questions.
Most people, you know, people that are not in the spiritual community don't
know that,
and they're just coming to get. Hey, Pina, I see you out there, Marion.
What's up, Pina?
Hey, hi, Kate. Kate, did you see what Kate said?
Kate says, "Where am I?"
Hey, Marion. Where's Martha?
Do you ever have energy shared? They're a great way to practice without charging. Well, see, hold up a second.
That was probably in regards to the tarot reader with the open book.
Energy sharing, no matter, it doesn't have to be readings. When you're spending time with your friend on the phone, you're exchanging energy. So let's say your friend's having a hard day, negative energy. They're calling you just to vent. There's actually what they call an energy vampire, but that's just a label. And so no matter what, right now this is an energy exchange. So this kind of frustrates me because a lot of people in the community think that you should never charge for readings. And here's the thing. When I encounter that, there's times and places where I do free readings on my podcast. Sometimes I do free readings on my lives. However, this is why I often don't do it. People abuse my energy because I'm giving them the message. They don't listen. They go to another live reader. They probably get the same message. Why is this important to them? If there's a person that goes to readers and they go in a circle of readers and they never make a decision, it actually stirs them up and they go crazy. Literally, they will lose their mind because they're trying to look for the answer they want to hear, and they never make any decisions to help or listen because they're listening to all these other people that don't bring them anywhere. So I get it abused. There was a time where Spirit told me this person actually that did pay me, and I said, look, Spirit's already telling me that I'm happy with this message, and I'm going to tell you right now what it is. And I said, you know what? No problem. I'll tell you right now too. I'll refund you. It was like $50. She got the reading, she got the message on Facebook Live, and she was like, no, that's not how it is. And she wanted to be married to this gentleman. And I already knew Spirit said this, and I already knew that he already told her he doesn't want to be married. And she's like, no, that's he's the stubborn one, she says. And I was like, you know what? No problem.
But that's what it is. They just want to hear what they want to hear. Right. And so they go from reader to reader.
Well, because they don't want to hear the messages. And
right.
I've encountered last week. I've encountered that before.
We're really good friends. There's times and places where we give exchanges because we trust our energy. And here's the other part about energy exchange. If you're getting a reading or giving a reading, you have to make sure that you're going to someone that has good energy, number one, because of the exchange. Yeah. Because you can be giving someone or receiving energy from someone and it knocks you out. I get energy before I read people. Sometimes I actually forget because I'm here. Going, why am I feeling this way? What's going on? And it's because of the person I'm about to read.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot to do with energy exchange. So that's why you should probably charge for it as well.
Yeah.
You're the work.
You're putting a tax. You're putting tax on your spirit.
You got me worked up, Kate.
There you go. Well, people don't like to hear the truth. That's absolutely true. And Kate said, I meant in a mutual exchange. Yeah. And one thing is that if
Just give me the light.
That's why I love you, Joe. That's why I love you.
in the shop, as mediums, when we hang out here and we do cards and we all share readings with each other,
Mhm.
and I love that. It's one of my favorite things about the shop is sharing readings with everyone. But if I do have someone that comes in that wants a reading and maybe can't, or if I have someone that I need to give a message to and they can't afford a reading, or and understandably so, or you can't. I've talked to Leilani about this earlier. There has to be some sort of an exchange, and there's not necessarily an energy exchange, like $1, or bring me a cookie, or a sandwich, or a cup of coffee. But there's an exchange. There should be some sort of a mutual exchange. It doesn't necessarily have to be a dollar bill.
Yeah, and the way that we were talking about earlier, so we have on the flip side, we have people that are still reading out of their book that just need to know their place. And then you have the other side, people who are readers that need to know their value. It's important to know your value because your spirit has value and your spirit gets taxed with all of this. So it's important to replenish it, and whether that's with money, whether that's with a gift, whether that's with a piece of art, whatever, food, something like that to bring the spirit back.
Sorry, I just had a thought about a reading I had one time. When people come in, when I get other mediums that come in and they want to do readings here or whatever, I had a woman in here who was going to give me a reading, and she turned she turned the cards over and said to me, "So what are you feeling?" I was like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Oh, I hate that. Oh my gosh.
Why am I reading my own cards?
Like I'm
Feeling
here.
clueless.
I'm feeling like you need to pay me. Simply Lucian said, well, some people don't always have the money to just shout.
Right.
Like for example, being hit hard by COVID-19. What do we do? Listen, look, Lucian, we're not heartless motherfuckers. Like for really real. Like when it comes to you have the reason why I charge the prices that I charge, because I charge very high prices on my website. You'll see all of my readings, and the reason why I charge high prices is because I do a lot of pro bono work, and that pro bono work, those high prices kind of make up for it. And so when you're investing in a reading with me, you're actually investing in another person who can't afford it, and I'm able to then give them a reading. So we're not heartless. If you're truly struggling and we see that and we know that about you, you'll get your reading. You'll get what you need.
Not everyone sees everything. So like the people that are very quick to judge are like, they never do free readings because they're upset with themselves. So we do a lot of free stuff.
A lot of free stuff. I mean, this right now, we're sharing free wisdom with you every Wednesday, and you can take advantage of it or not. You can ask the questions or not. It's completely up to you, but we're here and we're available for
That's
you.
The cool part. Like I drop little nuggets on my live too, and then
all the time.
I have the class, but if you watch my lives, like
go on my TikTok, 60 seconds every single day, 60 seconds of free wisdom every day.
It's fun.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's addictive.
It's so addicting. It's so
Someone was
addicting.
telling me about it. You should do a TikTok.
It's so much
I have
fun.
so many
It's crack.
things that
It's
I
crack.
do in my day than to stop it to.
It's crack though.
The other thing about this
Seriously.
this topic though is that I'll feel and hear spiritually like when I help someone.
Yeah.
And so especially if I can see it unfolding futuristically, like I'm helping someone with a class that she's gonna join. I was like, don't even worry about it. But I see it unfolding in her lifetime multitude because what I'm teaching is going to help her. It's going to help other people, and that's the importance of that. You're giving a gift to give multiplied.
Well, the thing is that once you become greedy, it's not a good thing.
Well, there's those people though. They're like, please,
not a good
and then Spirit's like, no, they're it's not
They're
the
faking
right.
Well,
it,
not
right.
not necessarily the person looking for the reading. The reader themselves become
Greedy.
I'm just waving at all these cameras.
Okay, or
John, what do you think about this?
Yeah, what do you think, John?
We keep forgetting about it.
So you're just basically talking about the greed aspect, right?
yes.
Or just
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like as readers, I'm sure you'll agree with me. We don't ever want to need the person or give us the reading, We don't really want people to have
Okay.
energy right? We read, we get our guidance. Yeah, sometimes we gotta draw the line, the boundaries when, we're getting out of bounds, or who go, if we find out that if there's a lot of different readers, questions, that, here,
Exactly. And you get those, you do get those people that there's so much, my mom used to say this, when she would give someone a reading and they would want to come back for more readings, and she would say, what new happened in your life?
Right. Like,
How can I
Give it time. Give it time.
How can I give you more than what I just gave
Yeah.
you?
Give it time. People
Unless
get addicted to the process.
unless it's one particular thing that you're coming in for about, well, am I going to get this job that I applied for?
Mhm.
That's different. But in your life itself, nothing has changed in a month period or 2 month period.
Right.
It just doesn't. What more can you get? And
Sometimes I'll do that for people. Sometimes, what, come see me in 3 weeks, or come see me in this amount of time, because this stuff is going to happen. So come see me in that time. But like, that's not always the case. So it's important to kind of, what I mean? Know where
there has
you're
to
at.
be limitations to everything, boundaries, just like John said. Exactly.
Key. That's the key.
And people become addicted to their readings. And wow, that was crazy. Yeah.
How about our audience members? Do you guys have any questions about anything?
you guys got any questions?
We have audience here.
I don't
No?
do questions. I give input. You guys move subject.
I love that.
Too funny. Peanut says greed brings in the ego.
Yeah.
And then gifts are lost, and that's true. Yeah, that's true. It's so true. Wow. So.
Oh, well, don't worry.
I'm
I have a
like,
list of questions.
Go
If
ahead,
you
let's
run
see
out.
what you guys have to say over there. Question?
Oh, no. So from that private message that I was telling you about, they're not asking really anything.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, so one of the questions from my TikTok, so someone had watched one of my TikToks and was like, can you elaborate on that on Wednesday? And the question was about the definitions of living traditions and non-living traditions, open traditions and closed traditions. So those four definitions. And I thought that was
traditions
and non-living.
Non-living. You elaborate more on that?
Okay, cool. All right. So I thought it was.
Yeah, go ahead.
So a living tradition is a spiritual practice. It's an unbroken chain of a spiritual practice that has been unbroken since its inception through a line of people, right? So this is mostly the ATRs that we're talking about, mostly the DTRs.
So I'm gonna ask you questions because many people don't know what that means.
So ATRs are African traditional religions, and diasporic traditional religions. So from the Afro-Caribbean world.
And so that's an ancestral tradition.
That's an ancestral tradition. It's an unbroken chain of a spiritual tradition, right? And so it's called a living tradition because it stays alive through oral and it stays alive through this unbroken chain, versus a non-living tradition, which would be like neo-constructionism and neo-paganism, things where people have to go to archaeology and kind of piecemeal stuff together and then practice it because they were able to kind of piecemeal it together from what it was. So it's considered broken. It's a non-living tradition. That's what it's considered. So there's that definition. And then you have the open and closed tradition. So the closed traditions are traditions that, in order to have access to that sacred spiritual knowledge, you need to come in through initiatory practices or through that particular line in order to access that spiritual science, that spiritual technology, versus an open tradition like some forms of Hinduism, some forms of Buddhism, where it's just open to the public. You don't need an initiation. You don't need to get into it. It's there. It's available to you. You can find them in books. You can find them online. So open versus closed and living versus non-living.
Okay, so what's the question?
Yeah.
They just wanted to elaborate on that because I kind of touched on it really quickly on my TikTok, because 60 seconds is not that long to explain that. So they were just like, can you just like tell me about that a little bit more? And that's really what it is.
That's a whole program on its
That's a whole program on its own.
Stay tuned for next week's episode.
Right.
Well, I can only answer that and my experience of what I've been through and what I've learned so far from Santeria and watching Paulo and some the Spiritismo. And the first thing about the living factor is that you have to understand through my eyes is that there's always this evolutionary process through history. So Santeria and all this other stuff is an Afro-Cuban religion from Nigeria that came into Cuba, came through slavery. So they had to constantly adjust it. And now it's a living practice where certain things aren't done so much as they're supposed to, or they were only because of 2020 living
Well,
situations.
things
Right.
grow, things change.
But that's what
There
makes
has
it
to be
living,
change.
is that it
Change.
it was like kept
Yeah.
evolving and kept going in order to
Right.
survive.
Now, this is why you got to be careful of people who practice things they don't know what they're practicing. They think they're continuing a lineage of things that are
Mhm.
false. But then there's the practice. This is why you got to trust certain people that are really doing what they're doing. They're honest if they're not sure how far, but they have someone else that they're working with and learning from. But when it comes to the living situation, is that this is a big loaded question. I love it though. It comes into this time, but it's still practiced and it's still learned. And then the initiatory factor that I like you added is that there's things that you can still learn and do, even though you're not at certain points. But then as you learn, there's more things that you are open to at that point to work with, and then you have to learn how to work with them. But in my standpoint, when you do these certain things, and you have to have respect for it and not just walk into it blindly in the sense of like, I'm doing it to open my third eye. That's been a big topic this year. How do you open your third eye? And a lot of people are doing it for the wrong reasons. A lot of people are doing it for cultural reasons. A lot are doing it for just to better their life. But when it comes to the historic part, which is interesting, you have to piece it together. But in my opinion, it comes from, if it's coming from your heart and your intention, then it should be pure. But if you're working with something that's negative right off the bat, that's why you should do research on it too.
Right.
And-
So, of course, do these things with professionals
That's a
and
big
not take
question.
that on by yourself. That is a real big loaded
It's a
question.
big, big question. I think another piece of it too is like, honestly, just have respect for the cultures that it comes from.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of what I see, especially in like the younger generations,
Well, yeah.
is sort of like this entitlement of like, well, it's all out here. Like there's books written on it, it's on the internet, so like it's free and it's open for all. But what they don't realize is that what's out there in books and on the internet is barely scratching the surface. That's the stuff that we're allowed to tell people on the outside. And that's the whole point why it's written and on the internet. But the stuff that the spiritual technology that we're talking about is part of why you would get initiated into these practices, is because that's where you would start getting access to that information. And so like I feel like it's one of those things where it's important to just, not to pretend to be anything that you're not, have respect for the cultures that you are borrowing from, and being very transparent that you're borrowing from it. Otherwise it kind of like it's that cringy place that we all don't want to talk about.
But you
Yeah.
should definitely,
And
more than
seek
research,
elders,
but,
seek
yeah,
elders.
seek people who do this.
What I like to add to that is, especially from my perspective, is when I was younger, I didn't really know everything about what I'm involved in today, but I knew that it was calling to me. And there's people that are called to Wiccan or other things I'm not familiar with, but I don't put my ego in it, and I don't know much about it. I know symbols, but I think that's more, in my opinion, again, I think that's more of a practice of history that you're saying instead of a living thing, because they're going off of what they might have been learned from a book or what others think, but also at the same time, in my perspective of the African traditions, it's really rooted versus questioning other people like, well, this is what I was taught, and this is what I got from the book. I don't know, but with respect, but if you're called to something and you feel like you need to be involved
Then
more in it,
seek those practitioners, seek those elders,
Yeah, for sure.
and approach it with respect. When you come to them, give them gifts. Like be respectful.
a lot of people think that too, that you can't practice
Oh no!
maybe know a little bit of Wiccan spirits. Spirits have their own personality, characters. I don't know why that kind of.
No, but you're right though. Like I've seen a lot of people like be like, well, I can't be Christian and then practice this or that. That's like, sure you can. Like a lot of them a lot of them don't, like, Buddhism doesn't consider itself a religion, it considers itself as a philosophy, for example. So, like, that can be kind of tacked on to other practices as well. So, like, it's okay. Again, approach it with respect.
Your research, you should view it all, and take what you want from it, but also something that requires to have the proper education. You should put it that way. You have any input on that, John?
There are also certain aspects of creating in the now. So with the creation of the now, really in certain perspectives, past, the present, and the future are all going on now. Everything's parallel, even though every second's parallel. So once, we connect more and more with our past lives as readers, teachers, etc., we also can come to the realization that we have been that and we have done that. Also good to pay respects to elders and everything else, but a lot of times bringing back these other aspects of self, are the pieces and the mystery school puzzles we've done in the past and even mastered in the past. So, and perhaps, this is why we're interested, what we're interested in now, because we've had, different past lives and different traditions. It makes it pretty powerful,
That's true. And one thing about John, if you has John given you your past life stuff?
Me?
So he does this
No.
when you come to. I'm sorry, I am changing the topic now. I'm changing.
No, let's do it.
Wait, well, I'm ready. Oh, you.
Okay, so this is what I get for Joe. Right now, I see a past life soldier.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
No
said
way.
it. I said it about him. I said the same thing.
He's a hand, he's like
I'm still listening, John. You kind of shocked me.
Halfway.
He's in shock.
he's a squadron commander in that lifetime.
I'm listening.
He
Look at
commands
this. Look at your
one or
baby.
more of the different regions at once. That show particular title at that time was like multiple squadron commanders.
What else do you get, John?
From very fierce soldiers. There were certain soldiers.
That's really, really accurate.
So when you want to talk about grit and how you manifest grit in this lifetime, so
Oh man. Oh man, this what?
grit,
Grit.
perseverance,
Oh.
toughness, you've taken the armor that you used to have physically as a soldier, now you've recreated that as spiritual.
That is so.
Do you know how happy you made me, John? Because there's only things that I've known, or maybe a couple people have known, but to validate that, it really tells me more because you don't know anything about me, and that was really good. It was actually around when Jesus Christ was still around, and there was a brotherhood that was accurate too. These are things that I've heard myself as well. I'm like, all right, and then you're basically going, well, that's crazy.
I told you. Listen, people, when you come to John's workshops, you never be surprised what you hear from him. You get all these things, right, Lisa? You've been to the workshops. It's fun.
That's why I also still get in some trouble though, John. Because in my past life, which is still part of me, I was extremely good looking, which is true today.
Oh, that is funny. Super cool.
Wow, so when's John gonna be around? People gotta check him out. I like this. If you're around the Pauling, New York area, come to
He's coming Friday.
12 West Main Street, you guys.
Yes,
12 West Main Street.
So is there anything that I need to focus on in this lifetime? You don't mind me asking?
Really? You're gonna get a free reading right now?
Yeah.
Really? We're gonna do this right now.
I get the same message 3 times. Study, study, study.
Uh,
So credit to what you've already learned and mastered, which is great, but you're continuing to move into expansion. So you're continuing to study and hone the craft of the area.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's true too. All right.
So people, think about when you're gonna, when John, not only John's workshop, when he's gonna be here doing his crystal skull readings, it's gonna be super cool on Halloween. So
John, do you have any web page that people can follow you on?
No, I just have my Facebook.
Okay, all right.
Found a lot of your Facebook page.
Sounds like-
but you also have a page too, right, John?
Oh, well, I have the interest group, like, crystal skulls, adversaries, and love and light.
That's
Crystal skulls, adversaries, and love and light, that's the Facebook group. And then I also have the egalitarian, the New Age Network, which, people can join and then they can advertise.
yeah, it's really good. They're really nice groups that John has, and there's always lots of great information. John is always posting some wonderful things on there. So if you connect on those pages, those groups with them, great.
That was good.
That was
I
cool.
was not expecting that. Thank you.
Tina said she loves it so much. Oh, past life.
I love it.
Yes, they're drinking wine, Tina.
Yes, we are. We thought we were gonna be discreet by putting in a mug. It's not working. It's not working at all.
I literally said, let's use this cup.
We're getting glossier and
I'm trying to
glossier.
help you out. But
Yeah.
Well, they noticed just because you know.
Yes, Joe got up 3 times.
Yeah.
They're
The wine was delicious. It was delicious.
Everything is free. Study, 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 drink, drink, drink.
Yeah.
And there you go, John, rum and soda. That was really cool. That made my night, actually.
All of them.
I love that.
Oh, jeez.
Did you want to say what was in the shop?
Okay, so do you want me to talk about the upcoming stuff?
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it. Let's see
so-
what's going on, you guys.
I gotta put my glasses on.
All right, so everyone in the TV Screenland, we're in Paulding, New York, at Angel Aura Spiritual Boutique. It's a shop.
At
12 West Main Street.
This is Diane. She's gonna be your friend because that's what happened with me. And then there's awesome stuff here that I always buy something at because it's
You
awesome
never
here.
leave without buying something.
Yeah.
It's horrible and amazing at the same time.
And, there's awesome classes happening.
Yeah.
I do a lot of stuff, and I always say to people, just come on in. You don't have to buy anything. Just come on in, hang out, talk to me. I love talking to people. I love meeting new people with different gifts and learning different modalities, or what I like to take learn from everyone that comes into the shop. And if I can help in any way, I try to do that too. We are a spiritual community that we're building, and we love to have everyone else come in and join with us. And I'm so grateful for everyone. I'm grateful for you and you and everyone, Pina, and the other readers in the shop, Lady of the Light, Pina, Psychic Medium Star, Martha Towler does readings here. Did I forget anybody? If I forgot you, I am super sorry. I think that's what I said. Everybody, right?
Because John is right there, and then there's us.
Mhm.
I gotta bring my
Jonathan?
mom to see John now. That really twisted me. My mom needs to wake up call, so hopefully you can help her out some past. That was really good.
Yeah, Kate, definitely I will consider that. As a matter of fact, if you like to come in on a Sunday, I do meditation on Sunday, and we do some sort of an energy exchange where we share. Everyone has a deck. If you have a deck you like, an oracle or a tarot, whatever deck that you use. If not, I have some readily available. I also have, the Rebel deck, the famous Rebel deck.
I've used it once for myself. I did have a very.
I like that. I bought it and then I gave it away.
I really wish you did it because I really like
That was fun. My time.
If you come in on a Sunday, we do pass around cards, and everybody gets the opportunity to share their cards after the meditation. And If you feel that you want to give someone the message about that card, I encourage it. So it's all done with love and light, and I enjoy everyone coming in. We have a new friend to our group.
Yes.
She wandered in on Sunday. I love it. I love it. And she's back again today. And she's a wonderful person.
We got a couple.
It's hard. It's hard. You can't.
Questions here. Some people want to know what our TikTok username is. So
The
it's
Magical Solution, magical with a CK. You can find me on all social media platforms. You look for it, honey.
and mine's A Millennials Third Eye, all as one for TikTok, and then you can Google that.
Yes.
1
This is the
o'clock.
godmother. Someone also said if there's a website with all this information. Is it on the
Yes.
Facebook?
The AngelAuraBoutique.com. I do have a website.
You can find all of our bios.
Yeah.
You can book appointments with
You
us.
can book appointments online.
All kinds of good stuff.
If you're on my Facebook Live here, just go to my page. There's another live that I posted just before it, which is the camera here.
Mhm.
And then go to that page, which is Angel Aura Spiritual.
Yeah. It's everybody's bio is up there.
Yes.
We have workshops up there and special events that are coming up. All sorts of stuff. If you have any thoughts, comments, anything at all, I'm always open to suggestions. If you want something in particular at the shop, I'd like to do that also. So just shout it out to me, stop in, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm here Wednesdays until Sunday, and you can call the shop. It goes directly to my cell, so I'm always answering the phone. I'm always available. On Thursdays, we do Reiki with Damaris. Damaris is our Reiki master. She comes in on Thursdays, and
You
does
guys
Reiki.
will love her. You guys will love her. She's amazing.
Her stuff is great. She's opening up her own place now in Connecticut, which yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
she'll be here still on Thursdays, but she also will have her own place, which I'm so excited about.
Congratulations, Samaris.
Also, Thursdays, Star does her evidential mediumship workshop on Thursday, 6 o'clock. That is, starts at 6. And Damaris is here in the afternoon, and that is by appointment. Fridays, Pina, Lady of the Light, is here. Our lovely Pina, and she does readings on Fridays here at the shop. And Friday evening, John is going to be doing his workshop, so come in. That starts at 7.
Señora de la Luz.
De la Luz.
Lady of the Night.
Yeah, you know what? My daughter's name.
De la Luz?
De la Luz. Mary
Violet.
Alice Violet de la Luz. Rivera.
Shut
And I
up.
put it
That's
all-
amazing.
That is, yes.
I love that.
She was of the light. She is of the light. Love her. She just turned 18. Can you imagine? Ugh.
Oh, Lord. Watch out now.
Oh, I know. Yeah, she says to me, well, now I'm 18. I said,
You
"Oh,
can't
yeah."
tell me what to do anymore, Mom, really?
She says, well,
Pay
I'm
rent.
18 now. I said, well, I'm still the boss. I'm still in control. I haven't lost control yet. So this Saturday too, Leilani's workshop, and
And then the opposite Saturday, you can get readings from me.
also I do readings during the week if you would like one with me. Joe's workshop on the 30th, Friday the 30th.
Yes.
How
Let's manifest stuff.
it all starts with you.
Let's make shit happen.
How to attract and manifest with the metaphysical. Come
You
on
should
in.
do that as like your hashtag. Let's make shit happen.
We will have a Halloween party on the 31st. You must come in costume. We are having costume. Hi, Sarah
Yes.
and Vanessa.
What's up, y'all? I'm coming in as a psychic.
I'm coming in as Magic Mike.
Oh yeah.
I really want to see
I
that,
gotta see
Joe.
this.
I really want to see that. There's something about that.
You have to be the Roman soldier now.
Right?
Yes, you have to. You have to do it. You have to.
A Roman soldier costume?
Do you?
I've always wanted to do the Roman thing. Maybe I'll do like a mixture.
We'll have to figure that out. For you.
Yes.
Roman
Now
soldier,
we're taking
magic
this
light.
over.
Stop it, Joe. You're gonna have girls throwing their panties and
I'm
shit.
trying to bring people here.
Look at you.
Oh man,
Wait,
I
that's-
really topics.
Yes. Oh, yes. The long. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
So we are partying starting at 6:30. We are doing $35 readings all day,
All day.
and
All
John is going to
day.
be here doing the crystal skulls, right, John?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm curious. Is there something you do with the crystal skulls?
Bro,
Is
I
there-
bought 2 of them. They're amazing. They're so like jam packed with energy. It's
Really?
stupid. It's stupid.
A lot of work I've done with
Yeah.
You have when he are you bringing
Yeah.
are you bringing your big skulls this Friday?
I can. I might bring a few. I'll bring more on Halloween, but I can bring a few.
Are you going to be bringing the copper
The triangle
Triangle?
thing, the pyramid.
the pyramid? That's
Yeah,
it.
I should bring that. Yeah.
You know, I got a topic that I would love to talk about. Real quick.
Let's do it.
You know those hand gestures? There's like this.
Mudras.
Mudras, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And then a lot of people think it's evil because of what they put on
They
the
stupid.
yeah. Let's
Well,
talk
It's
about
true.
that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's simple. It's stupid.
That's stupid. That's the wine talking 2.5 glasses. Thank you. Go ahead.
What's your? Do you use them?
I
Because I
do.
want to do it
Mhm.
more. So when do you use them?
Try not to.
Because I've been
John-
sitting in bed going.
Well, we use them on I use them on Sunday night. TMI.
Is this working?
They're selling people tonight.
I
love
feel
it.
Let's get your
I'm
in.
sitting there going.
I fucking love you.
Peter is not gonna-
Yeah.
You just jealous.
Punish you.
Peter has no phone. Vina.
She said
That wasn't-
cappuccino.
It's the Vino. What?
Cappuccino. She said
No, it's
cappuccino.
I
Vino.
was watching from just.
That was Sarah.
So what? Let's talk about.
Okay, so I
What?
don't even know
What was the
we're talking
topic
about.
again?
Mudras. Are we talking about the skulls? Mudras. I use them. I actually have a deck. I do use them during meditation, and I use the ones for the chakras. So there's different symbols that you do. What we do is try to open up the chakras, to align the chakras, and then I'll use the crystal bowls in our meditation. And I'm sure John can give you lots of information about
I know that there's symbols. Symbols are energy.
But they're also energy points. If you think about it, the tips of your fingers are where all the nerve endings are.
But you have
So when
chakras there.
when you tap, you can actually feel like that zap going, like you're tapping those endpoints. And then if you hold it down, there's shit happening. You know what I mean?
Not anything there is.
There's some shit happening where it goes, but it goes back and it like stuff.
I will
I
show
get
you
it.
after the show.
All right.
You know, you get me.
There's a good one for everyone else.
You missed it. You missed it. Yeah. But you get me,
Wow.
That
right?
was
You
for
get me,
audience
Diane.
I do. But yeah, if you can, there's lots of there are decks out there that you can work on with them. It's a wonderful thing to work with. I love it. And they use it in yoga, right? They use it in yoga. It's a yoga in different yoga
It's hot
poses.
yoga or just yoga?
What you mean
I'm
hot
sure they can do
yoga?
it in
Like
hot
make it
yoga
into-
too.
Hot yoga, from what I
No, hot
What?
yoga.
I want to go to that one.
What is
It's
that?
sweating. You sweat. You're not.
Oh, I thought it was
and you
naked.
just it's
Oh.
not naked yoga.
I wasn't kidding.
It'll bring it back. Is this a children's show or an adult show?
The energy is high in this room. It certainly is.
It's an
Oh,
interchange
it's getting
spiritual
hot
show.
here.
You gotta be
That's my spirit.
It is getting hot.
professional, but also fun. Make
Yeah.
you giggle.
We-
I'm so not professional. Look, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not professional at all, you guys.
You know, this is another great
I'm not.
topic. We don't have to just end it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's our show.
You don't
We
need to
can
be
do what we
professional.
want.
If you
think
know
I'm-
your shit, you know your
I
shit. Like
think a lot
whatever.
of people hold a lot of spiritual people
At some
to a context,
level,
right?
yeah.
There is a professional boundary there,
Mm-hmm.
right? If they're working with you, I think there should be a professional boundary,
Yeah.
unless certain reasons develop in certain ways, professionally, like a respectful way. But like in this manner, I think it's just allowing. We're just having fun. We're being real.
And we're family here, so we
are
can like
raising
we
my
cut
vibration,
loose.
our vibration.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
what's important. And we get home safely.
It's just, you know what? It's not about, this is about fun. And the whole thing about the show is about the conversation. So when we started on the radio show.
Yeah, the radio show was pretty awesome. And that we had music, we had like our playlist and everything ready. It was really, and we had a sponsor. Yeah. And so it was fun. And then the station unfortunately closed down. Yeah, after the COVID. So you would have like that. It was a lot of fun because we were in the room and we were doing the whole radio thing. Yeah, the whole thing going. But so we brought it here to the shop because I thought I didn't want to stop doing this. I didn't want to stop connecting with people. So even if I connect with one person and might get you here and you needed to come here, then that's. And I made sure that I got permission to curse because I have a filthy mouth. Yeah, I have a filthy mouth. And Diana was like, do it, girl. Yes. So here we are. Blame it on spirit. I did a reading for someone and her spirit came in. Spirit that came in for her was person away. And oh my god. Oh yeah.
Some of them, from what I've learned, because it has happened to me once, that a family member really comes, not just channeling, just family member means that they're there for the purpose. When it happened to me, my grandfather is the guy that was changed. And I never met him past my 30s. Morning, it was morning at the girlfriend at the time was trying to get pregnant. It was like morning of me. And so later on in life, she at one point said some stuff that I was like, what he said. So I changed it, but that wasn't a purpose. I never met him.
This makes me crazy. That was anyone who wants to be crazy. It's crazy, right? This is crazy. But I've seen that too. Like I've seen like people just like when they're channeling, like almost like their face shape shifts in a way. Like even like their face, like you can see their eyes shifting, their eyes change color. I mean, some weird ass shit. Changes the whole word. Feature. The whole feature. Becomes something else. Yeah. And that's just, those are people who are supposedly channeling. Yeah, so again, you know, we get into the definitions of like channeling versus mounting versus possession versus, and that's like that's a whole lesson in and of itself. But like, supposedly channeling, and they're sitting there mounting people are actually being possessed.
I've met people, especially here, that they don't realize that they're allowing their spirit guide to possess them, and which is not a bad thing overall. Spirit guides are okay. You don't know.
If you don't know what you're doing, that could be dangerous.
Especially there's spirit guides that want to take over. They don't want to.
And there are spirits that just want to be here. That will pose as your spirit guide. So y'all need to just stop fucking around. What do you think about that, John? Yeah.
John, back to you.
John's over here like, these mother effers, they're so crazy. They are so crazy. Meanwhile, he's wearing a tie-dye shirt on his head. Yes, I love it. I think it's beautiful. People commenting, they love the tie-dye. I love tie-dye.
It says blank or no. I'm assuming it's all.
Oh, I know. You were talking about magic. time ago, y'all.
Is there anything out there in the internet for anyone have any questions? There.
No, my people are quiet tonight. They're usually loud.
What's wrong with you guys?
I'm disappointed.
People have been saying, yeah, I like the way you said that.
Don't ask, but don't remarry. Don't even scratch. Say it. Say it. What's she saying? She's talking about this. Isn't she? Yes, she is. In the realm of things. Oh Lord, I love you, Marion. Your inappropriate self.
My daughter is going to Texas. I think that's friend. My daughter's definitely.
Because you just said that. Because you're psychic.
Not to be look, everything's gonna be okay. That's exactly what I'm getting. You have to, your mom. I feel this protection with you, and that's.
It's okay.
You're just really concerned.
John already gave me a
Very worried. True, I'm giving it back.
Hey,
You have to let go of your concerns and worries, but as mom, love her. I feel it's very big protective energy with her. You have to understand that no matter what in life, even in the future of things, there's things that are just going to happen. And it's not always going to be bad stuff. There's just things that happen to us. But you're always going to be there by her side. And there's something about you also, you want to help, but you don't want to help. It's just like this adult. When she really needs it. When she really, really needs it. And you could trust that within the voice and when you hear it. You got to let go. It happens. I feel this emotion with it. Right, what's next?
What did you say?
First flaw, but due to COVID, boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing the right thing.
That's awesome.
Now, if she signs herself out early, it's not your problem.
All the more power to you. Yeah.
But I see her
Wish her
taking the
best.
long haul because
Yeah.
you're really pushing her.
Mm-hmm.
There was also someone out there before that was asking about a mom that passed away recently, like too recently, and I want to just touch really quick on that. When spirit passes away like a day ago, or really, really like a week, you have to let the spirit and the soul go through phases.
Yeah, give it time.
They don't just come by, not all the time. Sometimes, very rarely, it does happen, but they have to go through.
Or you'll get like a spirit guide or like an angel kind of posing as them in their place to kind of give you a message or something, to let you know that they're okay. But they need time. Give them time.
When spirit leaves the body, my experience is that they're here by their family and loved ones, saying their goodbyes. So I think that they're giving messages, and someone has a feeling about certain things, like what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they
sure.
do have to go, and they have work to do. They have a process that they have to go through. And it's not a good thing to go. There's certain mediums that, yes, can connect to spirit when they're just going, but they really just need to go, let them go and do what they need to do. There'll come a time when you're ready to have a connection with them. It's not always a good thing to try to connect right away because we have such a pain from the loss.
Right.
And so
I know in the Puerto Rican tradition, in my culture, we do a 12-night mass for someone who passes.
That's really good.
And that 12-night mass, it's a Catholic mass, but it's Espiritismo/Catholic. And in that 12-night mass, it's continuous 24 hours, 7-day a week for 12 nights of a mass. And people literally, they rotate. People rotate in and out of this mass. To ensure,
it is a beautiful mass.
Yeah, it's a beautiful mass to ensure that the spirit does not get trapped.
I love that.
And throughout that whole process, though, in those 12 nights, though, the spirit has an opportunity in 12 nights to visit who they need to visit, to say their goodbyes and do what they need to do. And then they cross over. And that 12-night mass is specifically there for the people to make sure that the spirit is protected throughout all of their journeys, saying goodbye, and to make sure that they find what we call it. It's not a gatekeeper, but it's sort of like the boatman or whoever you want to consider the psychopomp, the one between here and the other realm who guides them to make sure that they find that energy and gets to them to get to the other side. And then ensures that they are now met with the other spirits so that they can then learn their lessons, do what they need to do to then either get reincarnated or to do whatever. So that's the 12-night mass, and it takes a very long time, and it's an exhausting process. And we have our designated cook, and we have our designated person that's like constantly feeding and caring for all the people, and it's just praying and candles for 12 nights.
That's a nice ceremony because everybody is going through the emotions and the healing together, and that's a really nice thing.
I also, because there's different things people need to do, and that 12 nights with lift the spirit from candles. That I like.
But I mean, follow your tradition, follow whatever it is that your culture does. If you don't have one, or if you're not sure, you can do it on your own. It's something as simple as just simply having a candle and a glass of water on the ground and just praying for them to find the light and find
talking to them. I always light a candle. So I always say that when you say a prayer for someone who's passed, even later on, but when recently passed, it's like sending them angels. Mm-hmm. So for me, my belief is that when we leave the shell, we become out of this. We have a loved one, and our guide, our angel. Not our guide, our angel. Guardian angel is with us, and I've personally experienced where someone has crossed over, and I've seen more than one angel with them. Yeah, and a loved one. So,
and when you're praying, just make sure it's about them, not about you.
Well,
it's important to not. I mean, you can mourn. I'm not telling you not to mourn. I'm not telling you not to feel the idea of losing someone. But when you're in that process of praying for them to send them over, make sure it's about that and not about what it is that you're feeling, because that's where it gets a little.
Do you know
foggy.
how many people have realized like they're not aware of?
They're not aware, and they're so powerful.
And I'm like, I'll ask a question, they're going, no, but their energy is like,
yes, bitch, you. Yes.
we have to start realizing like how, because a lot of people don't realize, especially in 2020, there's a lot of spirituality.
Word.
And so there's a lot of people that still aren't realizing that how they feel and what their energy is emitting, how strong it is, and then the other people around them might be empaths or intuitives, and they're going, "This is what I'm getting about you," and they're like, "No."
Yeah, I encounter a lot more people that are more energetically connected. Not necessarily that they're empaths, but they are connected.
So we have a Buddhist in my live who says that they do a 49-day reading out from the Book of the Dead, which is the Tibetan Buddhist guide for the deceased. So they do 49 days of crossing them over. That's a lot. Damn, bitch, go you. Like, that's too much. That is extra, and I love it. Respect. That is amazing. That's a lot. I can't do it.
That's true love.
That's true love.
That's unconditional love.
Word.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
How do you feel, John? Any comments?
49 days?
Yeah, that's a lot.
So I love the Buddhist tradition. Hey, how much longer are you guys gonna go for?
We can let you go if you need to. It's okay.
It's true. We went extra tonight.
If you want, I'm kind of pushing for another like 15 minutes here.
You can, John, if you'd like to leave us tonight, you're welcome to.
But I really appreciate that little mini read. That was awesome.
I want one later. Okay?
That was really cool.
All right, I'm gonna head out there.
All right, bye, John.
7 o'clock, everybody.
7 o'clock. Friday. All right. Well, he did it himself.
Okay.
That was awesome.
That was
Very cool, right?
Roman soldier.
Yeah.
Joe,
Supposed to
we
be
are
secret.
dressing you as a Roman. You must come, people. Come for the party. It's going to be so much fun.
I'm bummed that I'm gonna miss that.
It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So,
I am super bummed.
I can't just talk about it. I gotta be about it.
Yeah, man.
When we lose a loved one and if we interfere with that passing around with our,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
especially
Yes.
how they pass too. But
Yes.
either way,
Yeah, it's important. Again, it's just, and that's such a hard thing to do to disassociate, not disassociate, I can't say that, to
well, you're holding on to
There is
them. You're holding.
separation.
yeah, because the reality is when you say things like, oh, please don't go, please don't leave me, why did you leave me? And when you say things like that, you're tethering them to the 3D world
Right.
and you're holding them back. So it's important, although you're grieving, and we want to honor that grief, we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to grieve in your way. At least in the beginning, allow them that space to go where they need to go and give them that space that they need. And remember that it's not about you at this point. It's about them and their journey.
What?
I read a comment wrong and I went, oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
not you.
Okay.
So, I agree with you though, because a lot of people, it's normal. We're sad.
It's normal.
But then
It's
you get a
normal.
spirit that, let's say, like, someone lost someone, and the spirit comes because your energy and thoughts are with them.
Of course.
And then there's times where I've actually heard that you have to be careful of how-
Parasites. Sorry, but it's true. Oh my God! But I'll talk about that later. I'll talk about that later. I'll talk about that later. Go ahead. I'm sorry. It's true though.
Well, what I've heard is that you have to be careful of how much energy and grief you're putting in, because the spirit might love you so much that they'll take you with them. And it
I
could be a
haven't heard
family
that.
member. Yeah, it's actually a true story. My grandfather passed away. My mom obviously was very upset. It was her dad. And one of our friends that's really very spiritual as well. And he's like, look, you have to be careful because your father's with you so much, and because you're so sad that he will take you with him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like a negative thing where it's like, I'm not taking you out. But
No,
it's
but it
because
can
they
cause
want
like
you to-
suicidal thoughts. It can cause a lot of
Yeah.
depression. It can cause a lot. Yeah, and then you have what I was trying to say was like parasitic spirits as well, who will see you in your grieving period and will come in and try and take advantage of that.
That's true.
They can pose as your ancestors and pose as those deceased loved ones and draw you in, and so you can fall into depressive states, you can fall into suicidal states, and you'll get these attachments that will eventually drive you over to the
That
edge.
did happen to me.
Yeah.
And you get so low.
You get so low.
And then when you get that low vibration, you're attracting low vibrational
Mhm.
entities to feed off of the energy that you're
It's
emitting.
so fucked up.
It's
Yeah.
very weird to
Grief,
think
the
about.
grief.
Yeah.
So Corinne says grief is love.
Grief is love. No, you're 100% right. It is love, but there's a time and a place. You have to remember that it is about them at this point. They're on a journey that they need to.
They only left the shell.
It's only the shell, exactly.
Well, grief
exactly.
is love because you can't give them the love anymore that they're physically here. So
Right.
it turns into grief. It's just unsettling.
And once that period is over, because it's only a period, it's a short period of time. Once that period is over, then you calling them back, or you acknowledging them, or you inviting them back into your life we can do that. That's totally fine.
Exactly.
And let's not forget too, they're your blood. They live inside of you. You're a walking version of them. So they're never really gone.
One of the hardest things that I had a moment was when someone said you have to let go, and I was like, no. But I realized it's like, is it letting go? Isn't really letting go.
No, it's not.
It's letting go of making peace
Your
with it.
attachments of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and knowing that they're still around, because you're going from the 3D world into losing stuff that's not here anymore.
Well, the thing is, the thought is that they're not really gone. I mean, they're only out of the shell, but they're still here. They're still with you. They still part of you, but they still have to go through a process. Yeah. Spirit has to go through a process.
I'm still amazed to this day when I get someone that I've known that crossed over and it comes out in a certain way that you're like, that they know. They don't know anything about them. There's still this fascination about it, because obviously there is more to life than we even know.
Yeah. Yeah, and because these dimensions and these worlds are so intermingled, like they all interact with each other. Like it's not,
Yeah.
they're not separate.
As Pina would say, the veil is thin right now.
It's
It
super
is.
thin.
And yes, and Corinne,
Seriously,
yeah, that you're dreaming of him, your son, and I'm sorry for your loss.
I'm so sorry. No one ever
Um,
wants to go before their child before them.
You do
Yeah.
feel him, and you in the dream when you're dreaming of him is because that's when he's able to get your connection.
Yes.
So when we're sleeping, he's able to speak to you during that time at a more calm level because during the day you're having some
busy.
grief, you're busy,
Yeah.
so many things are going on that we really don't see the signs or hear the connection. So, well, in your dream state, he can actually have and believe that that is him having those conversations.
That's
with
totally
you.
him. And
So
you know
definitely
what?
have that belief.
And I think the dreaming part about it too is such a beautiful thing. Practice that. Practice your dream state, because if you can become lucid in your dreams and you can be aware of your dreams and have actual interactions in your dreams that are more real than dreamlike, I promise you the experience will be that much more greater. So keep practicing that, keep working through that. Maybe that's another reason why he's there, is to give you an opportunity to practice those things with him. You know, so go for it. That is beautiful. That's amazing.
I also
You're
don't
so
wanna,
lucky.
I also don't want to sit here and think like it's easy. Like, obviously, you're gonna go through some stuff, and it's gonna be, especially when you said son, it's gonna
That's so
that's
hard,
very
yeah.
very traumatic. The other thing I want to remind you too is that I wouldn't be surprised if you start going away from time. So I just want you to know, like, you're not crazy. You know, there's certain things that you're going to experience that you might feel like you're like crazy, but you're not. So I just want to leave it at that. But again, like when you lose a son, it's not. Take your time with it.
Yeah, take your time, please.
I don't want you to think we're sitting here like, let go, be peaceful.
No,
that's,
take your time.
Everybody has to go through their own stages. Nobody can tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
This is something that you need to do at your own pace and on your own time.
I got a
No one
question.
can understand that feeling.
Lucianne says, I have lost both of my parents years ago, but I didn't get along with them. How do I fix that? And I don't know, my personal advice with that is I don't know your situation with your parents. I don't know how traumatic or how difficult it was for them. If it was just I didn't get along with them because I was that rebellious teen, or if it was I didn't get along with them because they were abusive. I don't know. But I do know that there is nowhere written anywhere that you have to acknowledge or work with those particular ancestors and those particular people. But there is a benefit in healing those ties, and there is a benefit in healing your ancestral line, because the truth of the matter is that working with your ancestors is both retroactive and proactive. When you work with your ancestors to heal that line in the past, you are now stopping a trauma and stopping an issue in its tracks, and therefore healing the future legacy of your line. And so if you want to take that on, that is what it is. And if you don't, that is okay too. So I would leave it completely up to you.
I will let you know that for most part, every person that I've experienced that's gone into afterlife, the most bitter, evil people that you can imagine turn into the most wholesome and nice people, because you're leaving behind the 3D. And what you're doing is you're leaving behind everything that you did, and you realize, and I think for the most part, during those days that you're going in between, it's kind of like, the Ghost of Christmas Past, that you kind of go back and you're like, that was my life. What did I do wrong? I regret this. And for the most part, every single time that they've come back to talk to someone that they've had an issue with, they, for the most part, say, I'm sorry, I was in the wrong, or I don't know, that was my fault. And they do feel bad.
I necessarily haven't had that experience in my experience, but I have had people who have come back and felt regretful about some of the things that they may have done, and they've wanted to mend those things. But in my experience, a lot of times I've experienced people who, if they died an asshole, they are an asshole afterwards, and it becomes a work for them on the other side as well too. But not always. I've seen that too. I've seen them be remorseful.
Experienced spirits that,
Yeah.
but My take on it is that
I think it's
when-
both.
I think that I don't think that we become, if we done bad things with our family life and stuff like that, we were bad parent or bad person or whatever like that. I don't think that we really take that with us when we go to the other side. I think that I believe that when we get there, we need to look at everything we did and we need to feel everything that we've given. If we've given someone else pain, we need to feel that pain exactly how they feel it.
Yeah, I think there's also
Everything
times
comes
where
within your perspective.
I think there's times where spirit might have a hard time crossing over,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna be having a hard time getting to that light where they're peaceful. But they have to make this is why a lot of people need to become more open to mediums and stuff, because
Yeah.
when I went to the medium that had nothing to do and knew nothing about my ex, she was actually tossing furniture.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And she was telling me things that he didn't even know that she would tell me,
Mhm.
and that would help. And then those ceremonies,
Mhm.
but
The ceremonies help to elevate. But we had this conversation with Pina last time that I was here, and it does depend on how they die too.
Yeah.
Because when someone passes who are still holding on very tight to their 3D physical personality and their self, they're gonna take it with them. Whereas those who have the fortunate ability to die peacefully, like in a hospital bed, and they know they're about to die and they can let go of certain things, they have that opportunity to sort of elevate out of that. But you don't always see that. My specialty, when I do ghost hunting and when I work with people to elevate spirits, my specialty is working with spirits of like psychiatric wards and spirits of mental health issues. And what I end up finding in those places is that they're stuck.
mhm.
I see
Oh yeah,
people with schizophrenia who are now dead with schizophrenia. People with, who are whatever, now dead with whatever they had. And now I have to, as an espiritista, walk in and try and communicate with someone who might be nonverbal and schizophrenic and have to tell them how to cross over. And that is a very difficult
they
task.
have to go see the therapist.
But not
very
all,
difficult.
Not
No, I'm just
all.
kidding.
Not all are like that.
Not all.
Not all are like that, but in my experience, that's what I've dealt with, and it's very difficult. It's very hard, and it's very taxing on someone like myself. And yet another reason why I get so mad when people play with like Ouija boards and people play with
I
like certain
can't.
things.
I was just thinking about that the other day.
I'm like,
There's somewhere in the UK they make the largest Ouija board.
what?
Yeah, I was like, why?
Why?
So we're gonna talk to the world's largest like negative spirit ever.
Oh
I
my
don't know why they
god!
do that.
But that's what ends up happening is you have a bunch of kids, they go to the cemetery, they play around, and now they have to call someone like freaking me and Joe to come in and like fix it because y'all was playing around and being stupid, and that's a problem.
I find a lot of people that want to cleanse their home, but they don't even know like there isn't really a significant form of cleansing.
Right.
They have this mental thing that someone said to them, and then all of a sudden they're like, I need to cleanse it.
And then you walk in and you're like, there ain't shit here, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
I've done that,
You just gonna roll a coconut, blow some sage, and they don't have the confidence to do it. Because when they do it, they'll do it.
Effective.
Sorry to change it up. But
No,
Oh, it's okay.
God bless you for working with that. 'Cause I wouldn't do it.
It's a lot, but that's what my degree is, and my full-time job is working with people with mental health. Like when I'm not doing this, so like I figured, fuck it, why not do it in the spiritual realm as well? Because this is what I do. You know what I mean? But it's hard. It's not easy, and it's exhausting, and I lose a lot of sleep. And sometimes they come home with me because they don't know any better. And now imagine having someone with a developmental disability in your room, and you're like, okay, gotta figure this shit out. It's tough. It's not easy. It's not easy.
I've encountered some spirits that have had schizophrenia.
Sarah drove by and saw us sitting in there. Was that you that made all that noise?
Don't you live like 3 hours away? What you doing over here, bitch? Like,
Lucchese?
isn't that the one that hung out with us at the?
No.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad, Sarah. Wrong chick.
Oh, is she?
somebody
Is that
saying
now?
that
Well,
I'm sorry.
Come on in,
Guys,
Sarah.
You're
We're still
stalking
here.
us now, Sarah?
Come on in.
You should have came in.
Just
That's
come on
weird.
in.
That's weird.
Mark can come in.
That's weird.
Oh my
Oh man,
goodness.
this has been a great episode.
It really was. We had a lot.
lot of fun.
We should have wine more often. All right. We really should. You guys, thank you so much for joining us.
been a great evening.
Come
We had a
any
lot of
time of the
fun.
week. You'll find a medium. You'll find a class. You'll find
So
something.
It's Angel Aura
We're here.
Spiritual Boutique,
12
in
West Main Street.
in the village of Pauling. Yeah, and 12 West Main
And come to
Street.
our Halloween party. It's going to be balls.
AngelAuraBoutique.com.
Balls to the
You can look
walls.
and read about everybody, and always has the.
I love your brother. I do. I'm going to take him home.
And stop in and see us. We're here. Call. You can
Yes.
call, and you can schedule an appointment for a reading with anyone.
Yes.
We do that. We do readings here, by the way, people. Besides selling metaphysical items, crystals, and tarot decks, I have some new ones coming in tomorrow, so I'm going to post them up because these are going to be a lot of fun. And I got some